Mahay na hapon, aray wala. Si Father Sevilla po ini, digdi sa satuyang programa, bag Martes na hapon ang Hello Fathers. So, mga katiwala, kang nakaaging Sabado, no, kung naghiling po kamo, digdi sa Radyo Veritas Legazpi, ikaw po na, live po siya sa Facebook page kang Diocese of kan Radyo Veritas as in sa ibang mga kan Diocese of Legazpi. So duman po sa Horoan nagkaigwaning dedication, no, and blessing kan altar as in kan retablo. So yan po ang magayo na pag ulay-ulayan ta ngunya na aldaw na ini, no, ta medyo kaya to kasi puwantang maano ka mga terminolohiya, no? So we need to understand there are three terminologies sa laog kang simbahan, no? So nave, so body, so sanctuary kung sa inyaon ang altar, as in yaon ang pinakalikod po kayan iyo ang inaapod na retablo, no? So after the reforms of the Second Vatican Council, no, bilang pagbabago sa mga forma kang liturhiya sa selebrasyon kan Santa Misa, the IRR, no, implementing kung iwabaga pa po ni mga laws na pinapaluwas, no, igwaning implementing rules and regulations, no. So sa simbahan igwa man yung mga siring na dokumento, no. The document after the Second Vatican Council regarding liturgy is the first document of the Second Vatican Council, Sacrosanctum Concilium, na nagtauning reforms, no, sa liturhiya, no. One of the implementing rules and regulations, the IRR document of Sacrosanctum Concilium, is called the Inter Ecumenici, no. Digdi sa dokumentong ini, explain, no, pahayag that the altar must be freestanding. Bako na connected to the retablo, no. So kasi ang kayan sa pasapig kang intercommunity that the celebration of the Eucharist, the priest will now be facing the people. That is the kind of liturgy that we are having today. That the priest is facing the people. So, in lieu of this, the altar, the table, was removed. Tinanggal sa retablo. So, retablo literally means behind the altar. So kaya yaon po dyan nakalaag so crucifix, so mga santo, no. When I was giving this seminar, no, when I'm giving this talk, no, digdi sa satuya, since we are ang kadaklan kan most of our parishes, no, we were evangelized by the Franciscans. Ang satuyang mga retablo were very simple, no. Yaon sa na ang ibahin kang patron, ngunyan crucifix na sa tahaw, asin duwang sadit sa gilid, no. But in parishes that were evangelized by the Dominicans and the Agustinians, which some in South Luzon, up North Luzon, and some churches in the Visayas, in Mindanao. Ang sa indang retablo, pano yung mga manlain-lain ng mga santo. No? So, kita sa kita sa Franciscans, the retablos were just very simple. No? So kaya arog po kaya ng kan mga simbahan ta. So the altar is now in the middle. in present churches, especially in the US, no, and an arrangement, there are some changes in ito. Siguro sa mga nakahiling na yung mga bagong simbahan sa ibang nasyon, no. The altar is at the center of the church, no. And then sa mga tao nakapalibot, no? Yan ang mga bagong design sa mga modern churches ngun yan. No? Because duman nga na with goes with the saying that we are gathered around the table of Christ. No? The altar is a place of sacrifice. No? So, theologically speaking, we could say that the altar is Calvary. No? The altar, there the sacrifice of Christ is happening. In the biblical understanding of the altar, kung anon ta po sa duman pa sa mga in the Old Testament, kay Abraham, kay Noah, they built altars to offer their sacrifice. Si Abraham baga po, no? Maano ta na sa iyang aki, no? He was tested by God. No? And then, sa iyang aki, yaw na naman sa altar. Sabi kan Diyos, it's just a test to you, Abraham. Kaya, duman sa harayo, may nahiling na animal, sarong klaseng animal, yun na ito ang sa iyang pig offer. And also Noah, after the great flood, no, built an altar and offered sacrifice to God. Sinulo, pig slaughter, so sarong animal, and sinulo. And the smoke of this, iyo ito so nagtaas. No? In the New Testament also, we see na mga siring na ano to. The reason why, kung gilun tabaga po, no? So, kung maano po nito sa duman, special na hiling ko naman sa The Chosen. No? In the synagogue, no? In the temple rather, not in the synagogue, in the temple, no? In the temple of the Jews, no? Around the temple they were selling different animals. And these animals, yun is pigo-offer nila sa high priest. Tanganing ang dugo kaning animals, iyang pigpapahid duman sa templo, asing pigsusulo. So it is the animals are slaughtered on the altar. Kaya Jesus is called the high priest, ultimate high priest. Because it was not the blood of animals that he offered on the altar, but it was his very self. So the altar is now the cross where Jesus offered his sacrifice. Yeah, that is why the altar is sabi ko sa bago, the altar is Calvary. But today, that is the mystery in the liturgy, that we do not do it anymore in a bloody form. Bako nakita sa madugong paagi nagigibok ang atang, kundi sa paagi kan pamibi, asin rito, asin pagrumdum kan ginibo ni Jesus duman sa Kalbaryo sa pagdusay kan sa iyang buhay. No? That is why sa GIRM, it is said that the most important structure, ang pinaka-importanting bagay sa loob kan simbahan, especially when the Mass is happening, the liturgy is happening, is the altar. That is why I've been reminding ini mga lay liturgical ministers, during the Mass, we are to bow facing the altar. Even when praying the litany, we should face the altar, not the retablo. Because the altar is, while the Mass is going on, yaon dyan ang pinaka-important, yaon dyan si Kristo. And then, of course, later we will be discussing it also. Nasa rito kan dedication. There is the piglalahidan kang krisma. Why is there the anointing of chrism? Because the chrism is, the oil is Christ. In order to put more connection to Jesus in the altar, the blessed altar, kaya yaon, no? Pinaglalahidan ning krisma itong altar. No? So, kaya yan po, no? Magayon na, anuhon ta na, the altar is the most important structure, fixture sa laog kan sanctuaryo. It is now separated, freestanding, so that the people, while celebrating the Eucharist, rather the priest, while leading the people in the Eucharist, is facing the people, because kay ito baga po nakatalikod. No? With now, the priest is facing the people, so that the people may have pagkaigwaning partisipasyon na sasabutan at sa indang inaatindiran asin ginikibo. Mga tugang, mabalik po kita pagkatapos kan pagpamibi niya to kan Angelus.
Hello, fathers. Hello, fathers.